Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sessions Cafe. I'm your host, Keri D. Singleton, and today we welcome my brother from another mother, Cecil Wade, to the show. How are you, man?
Great.
It's good to have you here on the show,
Great
man.
to be here.
I gotta stop moving around in this chair, the swivel.
I see.
I gotta stop. It's like it's an addiction, sort of, like to just move around. But great to have you on the show. You and I go way back many years, 20 or so.
About,
at this
yeah.
point. Yeah. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. Again, welcome to the show. So you come from a large family.
I do.
In the Norwood section of the Bronx. What was it like? Because how many siblings do you have?
I have 8 siblings.
8 siblings.
So I have, 8 siblings. So it's like 7 brothers, 2 sisters.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a big family.
So I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle.
Yeah.
So what was it like growing up in such a big family? Because I know, back in the 60s, big families were more common than they are today.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like having so many brothers and sisters in the house?
Well, it was an experience.
Mm-hmm.
it was a great experience at that. As far, you get to learn different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
People stole from you.
Okay. We won't say which sibling.
No. They probably watch it.
Yeah, well, they know who they...
Like, you exposed me.
Yeah. But did you get along with your brothers and sisters?
I have.
Okay.
Like, we had a strange relationship. We just knew, like, hey, when I was saying I love you, like, hey, you all right?
Oh, okay.
Like, oh, yeah, I'm all right.
Okay.
What's up with you?
Well, they're very protective of you, your older brothers.
My older brothers, definitely.
Yeah.
My oldest, the one that taught me how to box.
Okay.
And my second oldest, he just, if anybody talked to me wrong, it was heads off.
Okay.
So
you didn't mess with the Wade brothers?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
So growing up in the Bronx, though, just like any urban area, it's tough. And you grew up in the Bronx, I imagine, in the 90s.
I have.
So what was it like growing up in a home of hip hop, in a time where the world was just getting to know about hip hop in the Bronx?
Well, I grew up in Norwood,
Right.
so it's kind of like a middle class area.
Right.
And it was all about dressing. That's how we battled.
Okay.
Like
You didn't have the cardboard.
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into the dirty mattresses and flipping and stuff like that. I was more concerned about my clothing.
Right. So to be clear, because a lot of people think the Bronx is huge. The Bronx is a large.
That's the South Bronx
area.
stuff.
Yeah, the South Bronx was the gritty, with the burnt out buildings, with the graffiti and all that other stuff. Norwood's in the middle of the borough where things were a little calmer and quiet.
Yeah. Well, though I do come from that area, that part of the Bronx.
Okay.
I wasn't there long enough to experience.
Right.
The rough times. I seen a lot of it. Don't get me wrong, but not enough to traumatize me.
Right. And it must have been traumatizing. I mean, we've all seen for those of us that are not old enough to remember with our own eyes, most of us have seen the video footage on YouTube and in pop culture of the old days of the Bronx, the burnt out cars. But that fueled the hip hop culture. And, we all know the great things that have come out of hip hop. So salute to the Bronx, because, the survivors of the borough are those who made it, and it contributed to the great culture that we have today.
The ingenuity was off the hook.
Exactly.
Woo!
Yeah.
You just found anything to make beats with.
Right.
Dance on,
Right.
like, the cardboard box, the mattresses. So they made the best of it.
Right.
Including myself. We made the best of it.
Yeah.
We didn't see the burnt down buildings. We didn't see poverty.
Right.
So, we didn't want to see that.
Right.
We like a cognitive dissonance type thing.
Right, exactly.
So it's like, no, I don't want to. I understand where I'm at, but I'm not going to let that affect me.
Right. Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Bronx strength.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in training others? Because we're here to talk about the fact that throughout your journey, you've evolved into a pretty sought-after personal trainer. And how did you get involved in training other people versus just working out to make yourself healthy?
Well, I was in a park one day and I was working out, and I had a lot of people who used to come up to me because of my physique or whatever, and they would ask me, what do you do? Like, how did you get your body that way? And me, with my, I don't like to misrepresent myself, meaning that I don't want to, I don't know how to train someone. I know how to train to get the way I got.
Right.
So what I did was, I was like, you know what? I think I should go into a gym and understand the functionality of training, you know?
Okay.
So
initially it was outdoor stuff.
Yeah, it was outdoor stuff, calisthenics.
Okay.
So, and what I learned is modification is so key, you know? So, I got into training folks after I got into the gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So initially it was, I'm not interested in being nobody's trainer.
Yeah.
I just want to get right. And then when people were asking you, you was like, well, I want to answer correctly.
Yes.
Yeah. You wanted to be, if you were going to be somebody's role model or somebody that people looked up to in terms of health, you want to be able to articulate to them.
Exactly.
Do it correctly.
Exactly.
Okay. But it wasn't always that simple. Yeah, we're going to get into the touchy stuff.
Okay.
Life happens. And I know that you had spoken to me earlier. You've actually been a statistic. You're in the New York City Department of Corrections. What was that like? What was that experience like?
To tell you the truth?
Yes, tell us the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, to tell you the truth, like I'm not saying I don't like to put that part of who I am. It's definitely part of my journey, or who I was.
Right.
It's definitely part of my journey.
Right.
It's not how, the experience was great. That's what I can say. It made me see that.
Well, explain to us now, for those of us that have never even been in custody before.
Well,
like what was it like? What happened?
It was very scary.
Okay.
To tell you the truth, if you want to know, I got arrested for firearms.
Okay.
It was scary, going in there because there's people's getting their face cut open.
This is on Rikers Island?
Rikers Island. They was getting their face cut open every second.
Wow.
And I'm not even exaggerating. Like when there's a part where you go into the infirmary.
Okay.
Right, you go into the infirmary.
The clinic.
And that's the clinic where you have to sit and you have to get your medical work before you move on to a dormitory.
Okay.
So
this is when
you're in there for hours.
When you first enter the jail.
When you first enter the jail.
Okay.
You're in there for hours. And I've seen at least 15 people with their face sliced in 1996.
Wow.
And it was traumatizing. And when I went in there, I was like, yo, why are these people getting cut? And the gang was in there, the Bloods was big at the time.
So to be clear, the persons that were in the infirmary, they got cut while they were in custody, not before they got arrested.
No, when they were in custody, in the jail, yes.
Wow.
I've sat next to a person who got his face sliced right down his eye, from right here to his forehead, down to his eye. Like the Joker, you see how the Joker got the split?
And you're sitting right next to him.
I sat right next to him. And I said to myself, I will never sit in front of the TV again.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is like, because when you sit and watch TV, that means that you're comfortable.
TV in the dorm area.
In the dorm area, you're comfortable. So you don't ever want to get comfortable in a dangerous place like that, because they'll look at that as vulnerability and take advantage of you.
So you're saying when you was, well, not you, but when other detainees in the jail would be watching television, it was during those times that sometimes they were getting attacked.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you spend any time while you was in custody exercising?
When I went up north, all right, so after you get sentenced, you go to prison.
State prison.
Yes.
A lot of people don't understand.
Prison and jail.
Jail, right.
Okay. Rikers Island's a jail because it's a reception.
Right.
It's a reception area. It's a jail before you get sentenced.
That's where you're held.
Yes.
You're actually innocent while people on Rikers Island
are they're innocent.
All innocent. People need to understand that. It's not a prison.
No.
When you're in jail, you're innocent until you're proven guilty.
Correct.
The difference between a person that's been charged who sits in a jail is that they couldn't afford the bail to get out. So after you're sentenced by a judge or a jury, then you go to state prison.
Yes.
And in New York State, we say up north.
Yes.
So you went to state prison.
I have.
Okay.
I went to state prison.
What was that like?
And It was like going from junior high school to high school. If you ever went to Vander Childs, that's like up north is like, you know, Vander Childs. It's crazy.
Is that high school in the Bronx?
That's a high school in the Bronx. Yeah. And I've exercised there.
Right. Okay. So when you went to state prison for the charges that you sustained in New York City, that's when you got interested in exercising.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What's the difference? And I'm only asking you these questions, Cecil, because a lot of people don't understand anything about the judicial system, the criminal justice system, much less the prisons industrial complex. What are some of the differences between being in a jail like Rikers Island and being in a state prison? What are some of the differences?
Well,
in terms of living.
Well, when you're in the jail, it's more tense because you don't know what's going to happen to you.
Okay.
So you got all these people who are real emotional, and they don't know what's going on. And if they get tempted, they'll start a fight. They want to get on the phone because they want to get.
It's a lot of tension.
There's a lot of
they don't
tension.
know what's going to happen to their case.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So when you go when you're up north, it's a little bit calmer because you know when you're going to leave.
Right.
You've
already been sentenced.
Yeah, you already been sentenced. You know when you're gonna leave.
Right. Okay.
So it's like it's going home from here. You're preparing yourself to be a conductive member of society.
Right. And so that's when you're in state prison, it's a more relaxed environment.
It is.
What's the environment like in terms of being able to exercise? Is it segregated? Is it are you able to go freely to the gym or to the yard?
Well, they have times where you can go to the yard, which is the daytime.
Okay.
They used to have three times out the day. Then they shortened it down because of rambunctious, crazy things inmates. Would happen. Yeah, right, inmates who didn't know how to act and just messed up the privilege too. Work out 3 times a day. 3 times a day. Yeah.
Do you work out with other people, or did you just work out by yourself?
No. I prefer to work out by myself.
Okay.
Because you don't want to click up too much in prison.
Okay.
Because you don't want to be stereotyped as any.
With any particular group.
Yeah, but any particular group, they can have a jacket of police. The correctional officers looking at them, and because most of the people that do go to the yard is. Yard meaning the workout area, recreational area.
Yeah.
They do mischievous things.
To say the least, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so listen, we're gonna stop there. When we come back, we're gonna talk more about your evolution.
Okay.
And the person that you've blossomed into, right here on Sessions Cafe. We'll be right back. And we're back with my guest, Cecil Wade. So fast forward, going beyond your experience in state prison in New York, you got out, you came home, and you decided, what did you want to do with yourself? What did you want to do with your life? Because you're very, very smart, man. I know it probably was, being in state prison must have been frustrating because you felt not just physically confined, but mentally confined. Right?
Yeah. So there was a number of things I've done. I did a magazine.
Okay.
Yeah, it was called Case Closed.
Got you.
We had a couple of good guests on there. That was in 2000. I want to say 2004. Okay. 5 maybe.
A physical magazine.
A physical magazine.
Nice.
We had it was good to go. It was similar to. The Source magazine, it was similar to that. We had a lot of good connections, but the team broke up. It was, we really didn't have the resources to continue the magazine. Yeah. And then I went on to doing a clothing line, T-shirts and accessories.
Nice.
It's called New Fashion.
Right.
And from New Fashion, you know, it lasted a little bit. I made a decent amount of money off of New Fashion, and then I kept the emblem, was the N and a U formed together.
Yeah,
fashion, as a new fashion, right? So I was like, you know what? I'll keep this in New Fit. You know,
New Fit.
Yes, New Fit. And as I stood with New Fit, the exercise stood with me as well.
Okay.
So, you know, through that plight or whatever, I'm like, you know, I think this will be a good fit, and I want to continue on with this.
Yeah, you definitely didn't let what happened to you, you know, getting involved with the criminal justice system. You certainly did not allow that to determine where you was going to go in life. And I really respect that about you.
Thank you.
The importance of physical health. Let's talk about that. Because it's not just about looking good, it's about feeling good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's a difference between health and fitness. Because you could be fit, but still unhealthy. Just because you can lug like 300 pounds, that doesn't mean that your arteries is not going to get clogged.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you're eating, your eating habits.
Okay.
So, you know, with health, you want to do things to prevent, you know, diabetes, all these other risks, like, you know, ailment risks, you know. It's very important in a stressful environment that we pay attention to our health. You know, it's not only the food, it's also the your lifestyle.
Okay.
You know, we overwork ourselves on our jobs.
Yeah, true.
You know, if you have children, and you know that could be stressful.
Right.
And what I mean that is that when they come home from school, and you're coming home from work,
right,
and you have to deal with that.
Right.
So that's, you know, it'll give you on edge a little bit.
Right,
you know.
Yeah.
So.
So let's rewind back a little bit to the food piece.
Okay.
What's your diet? Some people don't eat meat. Some people don't eat this or that. What is your diet made of?
I eat a lot of halal food. And the reason why I eat halal food is because it's you can actually, you see the meat that they're making. It's not shipped from here, it's shipped from there. You actually see the cow.
Right.
You understand?
Okay.
The meat is much healthier. And I could taste the difference.
Meaning it doesn't have the extra.
No, it doesn't have
hormones and stuff.
No,
like that.
it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. I could taste the difference. I can feel the difference. I can feel the digestion difference. Like it comes and goes easy, opposed to the supermarket brands where you don't know where this meat is coming from.
What about vegetables, fruits, and
vegetables as well? Yeah, I like raw vegetables like spinach.
Okay.
I do like some canned goods.
Okay.
But mostly the meat of the protein meats from the halal, because I work out a lot.
So you need the protein.
Yeah, so I need the protein to keep my physique good.
Okay. Here's the big question.
Go ahead.
Smoothies. Are they really healthy for you? I've heard variations regarding whether smoothies are really healthy. Some people say that it just concentrates the sugar in the fruits and the vegetables. A lot of people say it depends on what you mix the fruits with. What's your position on smoothies?
That is absolutely right. Everything you just said. I wouldn't combine smoothies. Like, you have to be a nutritionist, right? I wouldn't do a smoothie. You know, it's too much calories.
Okay.
And the fruit, the sugar, yes. There's some fruits carry a high level of sugar content.
Right, especially the ones that are like pineapples, and strawberries.
You want to burn off that sugar. You don't want to just let it sit on you. You understand?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't prefer no smoothies.
That's crazy because my nutritionist always says to me, "So how much weight do you want to lose?" And I'll tell her, and she'll say, "Well, what are you eating? What are you drinking?" I'm like, "Well, I drink a lot of water and drink a lot of smoothies." And she says, "Water's good." And I'm like, "Whoa, but I thought that the smoothies, of course, I tend to use pineapples and grapes and blueberries and strawberries and fruits like that." So
Yeah, and I want to tell you this too. Like some fruits don't. You shouldn't combine them. I'm not saying you can't.
Such as?
All right. So pineapples, I wouldn't combine with grapes.
Okay.
Or strawberries. I would combine.
So I'm crossing out all the
you know why?
negative,
Because in pineapples, it's acidic.
Okay.
So it helps you digest, but at the same time, it will dehydrate you.
Oh.
Because of the acid that's in it. Okay. Now, fruits, the grapes and the strawberries, being that they're berries, they carry H3O, which is it's good for hydration.
H3O.
H3O.
Okay.
Yeah, H3O carries good hydration.
Okay.
You know, hydrates you better. So if you mix the acidic with that, it'll bring down the hydration level.
Okay, so I know that you're not a fan of smoothies, but for the sake of those of us who are, what, in your opinion, Cecil, would be the definition of a healthy smoothie? Like, what would you put together and say, okay, I'm not a big smoothie person, but if I'm going to drink the smoothie, it's got to have this in it. What's the ideal ingredients, in your opinion?
You want the real truth?
I want the real truth. None.
Leave it alone.
Okay.
Eat the fruit as it is.
Okay.
You know, don't, because you know what I don't like? People, don't get into the taste thing. Okay. Get into the health thing.
Okay.
It's not about how it should taste. No, don't. It's not about enjoying.
Right.
You know, enjoy your health.
Okay.
Not the taste.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
So, yeah, do it for that reason.
Eat to live, don't live to eat.
Yeah.
Basically what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. As I have a big container of a smoothie that I made at home, I'm feeling totally guilty. Gym versus boxing and CrossFit.
Ooh. Gym versus boxing and CrossFit.
And for those of us that don't understand what CrossFit is, you're going to have to explain that as well. Yeah.
Well, gym, period, like, it's good to go to the gym, of course, you know. But all right, so boxing is more of a functional.
Okay.
And a technical functional.
Okay.
And CrossFit is a hybrid. And what I mean by hybrid is it's mixing weights with calisthenics.
Okay.
And it's time interval.
So can you explain to us what CrossFit is?
All right. Say like, all right, you mix like if you want to do, I want to say, excuse me, dips, right?
Okay.
Dips is when you get up on the bar and then you do your triceps, right?
Okay.
And then you turn around and you do some bicep curls. So that's alternate muscle alternates. Okay. So you're doing the calisthenic on the tricep, but you're doing the weightlifting on the bicep.
CrossFit.
Yeah, so that's a CrossFit.
Yes. Okay.
Cross of fitness. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have clients.
I do
now because you are a very well sought after personal trainer today. How do you create routines for each of your clients? Because all of them are not going to come to you with the same needs, the same wants, or the same bodies.
Okay.
So how do you create different routines for each client?
Okay. So I came up with the name New Fit for You because I customize the exercise for the person.
Excellent.
And what I do is I ask them, what are your fitness goals, right? And they'll say, I want to lose weight. Okay. What part of your body will you say you want to burn this fat at?
Right.
They go to my stomach. All right. Okay, cool. What part of your stomach? Is it the lower, the bread basket? Is it the upper?
The bread basket.
Yeah,
what is that?
This is the kangaroo pouch type ish.
This is the
that's what I call the bread basket, the lower abdomen.
Okay.
And you know, so I make, you know, I analyze them, right? I make an assessment. Excuse me. Make an assessment. I create a exercise for them, customized for them, as New Fit for You is. And it's good to go from there. Okay. And everybody is totally different. When they say they want to lose weight, they don't just mean like I don't grab a exercise like, okay, if you want to lose weight, you got to do this.
It's not generalized.
No, it's not generalized.
Okay.
That's the difference between me and other trainers, especially what I've seen. I've been working in 6 different gyms, and they're terrible. Okay.
Okay. So do you work with them all together, but they're doing different things? Or do you work with them independently?
Well, I do one-on-one sessions.
Okay.
I'm great. I've done great in and excuse me, group sessions as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so I could do it. I do it all.
Okay.
I've done it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is fitness an addiction?
It is, and I'm gonna tell you why, scientifically why. Once you like this is something called like cognitive skills. So your brain, right? It has this weird thing about it. Once it accomplishes a goal, it wants more because your brain is a receptor.
Right.
You know, so once it accomplishes a goal, it wants more.
To do
and
more.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's when your dopamine levels go up. You can start getting like, oh my God, I just did this. And then you like when you leave the gym, you want to do other things.
Right.
You should take. I don't oppose anyone to stay that long in the gym just working out. Yes, this is where you got your base and where you got yourself up. Take that and go handle other chores on the outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do other things entirely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Complete them goals. Like go take your kids to see a movie or something, you know?
Okay. Rarely do I get to talk to you without laughing. This is the longest that you and I have been sitting across from each other without laughing. We're down to our final minute. I do want to ask a couple of more questions. Physical health and mental health, how do they connect?
Oof. All right. So when you're doing your physical health, your mental health does go with it. So say like if a person that's in rage or whatever, and they have this problem with rage,
Anger management
or
issues,
whatever, and they want to hit something. That's where boxing comes in at. That's
Right.
why you see in gyms they have these punching bags, you know.
Right.
So it does, and it can, if instructed right, it can help a lot of people with their you know.
Mental health
issues,
Yeah.
yes.
Or emotional
as well,
health
yes.
issues. Yeah,
they
yeah.
go hand in hand.
Okay.
Anger is an emotion.
Supplements and herbs, how does that factor into your program specifically?
Oh, okay. I use supplements. Herb is a supplement. I do use it for. Whew. I use it a lot.
Are they like drinks or powders?
No, they come in there. All right, so I'm gonna tell you a supplement I use.
Vitamins?
It's called Alpha Brain.
Okay.
Right, and what it does is helps you focus on your cognitive thinking and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's what I like to use. Like before I got here.
Okay.
I want to be able to answer the questions correctly,
and
clearly.
Right.
So that's what's helping me right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's working for you.
Is it?
It is.
Don't lie to me.
Before we leave, I would never lie to you, especially on camera. Before we sign off, what's next for you, Cecil?
Oh, okay. So I'm in the process of building my own gym.
Oh, congratulations.
I'm into these business classes as we speak.
Congratulations.
And they're gonna give me a loan.
That's what's up. Congratulations, man.
Yes.
Congratulations
Thank
on everything that you're doing. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for educating my audience on the importance of health and sharing your story. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's a wrap. We'll see you next week.